Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Sports Wrap Daily. I am your host, Darrell Harris. Thank you for watching and tuning in. Happy Wednesday. Let's get over the hump today. I'm here joined by 8 Sports Now's Ron Futrell. Ron, happy Wednesday. How are you today?
Glad to be with you here on a Wednesday, Darrell. I'm doing well, and you?
Am I off? Were you and I doing this last Wednesday?
I think so.
I think Wednesday before that?
We're making a habit out of this. That's sort of a habit now.
I see y'all are paying attention. All right.
They're going to avoid Wednesdays now. Oh, Ron's there. Oh, what do we do with that? Okay. Well,
Not
we'll
at
watch
all.
Darrell.
Not at all. Nah, thanks for joining me, Ron. Big day yesterday, so let's start there. Just to let everybody know, we're going to sort of work backwards today in terms of, we'll start with the NFL, and then we'll work our way to some NCAA news, and then we're going to spend some time talking high school prep sports because it's a big week. Starting at the top. Klint Kubiak. I want to say, Ron, I thought that was one lovely little press conference yesterday. What do you think?
Lovely. It was nice when all the former Raiders got together out there. They were all at the press conference, a lot of them. Here, Jim Plunkett should be in the Hall of Fame, was there along with a bunch of other Raiders. So, no, that was good, was to have that show up out at Henderson, out at the facilities there. You see them thanking them, saying hi. Howie Long was out there. Who else? Go down the long list. Marcus Allen, I see.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, there's Marcus.
Yeah, Mike Haynes.
Mike Haynes. So that was cool to have all that and to welcome the new guy, the young guy, the kid, 38 years old, as a new head coach for the Raiders. Klint Kubiak has a long history with the NFL for his age, certainly because his dad, former quarterback, Gary Kubiak, and coach. So, and done some, right? Look at the kids. There they are. Okay, he's got his wife and family all out there.
Yeah.
Welcome to Las Vegas, Klint Kubiak. Good luck. And I mean that sort of sarcastically, and I mean it really. Good luck. Yeah. I mean, I'd like to see him succeed. I'm not a Raiders fan per se, but because I cover them. But it's more fun to cover a winning team than a losing team. So from that selfish point of view, I'd like to see him succeed here in town. I think he can. He's been given all the tools, all the weapons, everything now to build a franchise. Be patient, though. It doesn't turn around in a year or two.
Yeah.
Like New England. Oh, like New England did, by the way. They did turn it around.
And, not just them. Jacksonville flipped their record. Once you hit the postseason, it's a whole different ball game. But
Denver's done it the last couple of years to turn things around a little bit. So yes, there have been Chicago, Caleb Williams. You get a good quarterback in there. You build with a new coach and stuff. Yeah, you can make things
Washington,
happen. So
their trip to the conference championship is forgotten, but that was Jay Daniels' rookie year.
Yeah.
So you never.
Oh, that's right. Yes.
You never know. But overall, I think that the tone and the demeanor and the process, this was thorough. Spytech talked about it yesterday. We had dozens of interviews with over 20 candidates and really took their time to evaluate what the market was. All signs pointed to Kubiak being more than qualified to become a new head coach. You win the Super Bowl, that's the problem. There's no better alley-oop to becoming a head coach than being an assistant on a Super Bowl winning team. So there's a lot to be, optimistic about in Raider Nation because while everybody was watching Kenneth Walker go on to become Super Bowl MVP, a lot of the Las Vegas folks were just imagining that that's going to be Ashton Genty, in a different form, different way, but seeing what he was able to do and how just the entire offensive scheme, and I think it was a great question posed to him. I believe it was Q Myers that asked, who we've had on here multiple times throughout the regular season this past year, and we're going to have him again soon. He asked, hey, are you going to keep the play calling duties up? And I think that Kubiak, he was, sort of billed as, he doesn't, a few words, sort of, he's about the business, he's about the work, he's about the grind.
Right.
He can nerd out on all those conversational topics, but he's going to mention his faith, and then he's going to talk about getting to work, which he did. But he did open up a little bit yesterday. It was pretty candid. He said that I don't call games by myself. It's a collaborative effort. And that's a good neutral answer as well. Of course, he's a first-time head coach. Some head coaches do maintain those I'm calling the plays. But what's next is that he's got to build out a staff.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's going to be a discussion he'll have with his new offensive coordinator when he picks one, whoever that would be, is to say, okay, who's doing the play calling here? Are you comfortable with it? Does he want to get somebody who is very good, adept at doing the play calling? So that's something that he'll have to figure out once he finds those people. But got to fill out that staff. Need a defensive coordinator, offensive coordinator.
Let me say there's some steam picking up about Jim Schwartz from Cleveland. You know, Myles Garrett's position, unit leader, defensive coordinator from Cleveland Browns, them letting him go and parting ways, and there's some traction that he might be sought after to come here to Vegas. Maybe that would make Max Crosby happy. Ron, we may or may not have talked about this. All right, guys, I said this. I said I'm not going to talk about it before. I don't think I asked Ron, so let me just put it to bed with asking Ron.
I can't wait.
Would you trade Max Crosby?
No.
Thank you. That's it.
No.
That's it. They're going to keep. It's irking me that everybody who's not from here is perpetuating this. When it's like, are you guys not following the dots? He's in the building at 6 a.m. He's talking to every show in the building.
He's a once-in-a-lifetime player. Keep him.
Yes. At least for this coming year. Hey, you can reassess it at maybe a later date. But in my opinion, yes, I would not be letting him go.
Build a team. Better than that, build a team around him that makes him want to stay.
Absolutely.
An offense around him that makes him want to stay.
With a few more mini Maxes flying around him. That's what I want to see. Good. Clap it up. That was a good introductory to Klint Kubiak. Looked like one big happy family up there.
Yeah.
So couple months till the draft.
For now. Yeah, until they get Fernando Mendoza and build an offensive line. Those things they've got to do. They have the money to do it. They have the draft picks to do it. So do those things. And then make it a team that's worthy of Max Crosby, quite frankly.
Yeah.
Make it a team that makes him want to stay. And with a better offense, the defense will improve. The defense wasn't bad. Defense was middle of the road.
Exactly.
With a horrible offense last year, the worst in the NFL. So bring it on.
Yep. Let's talk a little college news after this break here on Sports Rap Daily. And we're back on the Subaru of Las Vegas Sports Rap Daily. I am Darrell Harris, getting ready to talk about some news in the Mountain West Conference. I'm here with Ron Futrell. Hey, Ron, we've got a new team in this new Mountain West.
USC. Was it USC or UCLA? Which came over? Which made the move over to the Mountain West?
I got North Dakota State.
It was North Dakota State.
Yeah,
yes. Yeah, that's right. Those other two schools.
The Big Ten, they didn't let them go.
The Big Ten.
They were trying to get in.
I mentioned those two because they messed all this conference stuff up. My two Southern California schools, being from there, and I sit there and they jack things up where everybody's changing conferences now. Okay, so what's happening?
There you have
it. The Bisons are coming.
Yeah, they are.
The Mountain West.
They're 10-time FCS champions.
Yeah, I mean they're a good football program at that level. Does it help the Mountain West? No. It's filling out the spots right now. The Pac-12. What's left of it is trying to fill out the spots too, because it's taken a lot of Mountain West schools. So it's a scramble right now, especially out west here, where a bunch of mediocre teams at best are trying to find their way, and they're having a hard time with it.
Well, let me ask you, Ron, do you think that this puts UNLV sort of in any jeopardy? Because with Boise State leaving and with San Diego State leaving, and not that they were a power in football, but with the schools that are exiting, UNLV's kind of top billing in the Mountain West going into the next season. We know that their recruiting class is, amongst the top 60 or so in the nation. So North Dakota State, they get up for games. They play a tough brand of football. I saw them.
Yes.
I saw their highlights against Iowa in a bowl game about 10 years ago resurfaced where they knocked off Iowa at the buzzer, and people were like, hey, and that was 10 years ago, so they've only got a few more reps, and players come and go. Who was it? Was it Trey Lance that came from North Dakota State?
I don't know. I think so.
Right, maybe.
I'm trying to remember.
But because they are petitioning for immediate access to the college football playoff. Because of this transfer, the way it's going down, that for whatever reason, they're not eligible automatically, but they are petitioning for that, which makes you think that they believe They've got a chance to just come here and win this conference.
It's not going to happen. They're not going to get that. I think petition, I don't mind that. Go ahead, do it. But it's not like the Mountain West Conference in any sport is scaring people right now. They're just not. Basketball is almost unwatchable at times. With the conference, it really is tough to watch. I mean, I've watched a lot of Big 12 basketball because I love those teams. I love seeing what Arizona, Kansas, they had a dogfight the other day. BYU's in there, Texas Tech's in there. They're just doing some remarkable things in the Big 12. It's fun basketball, quality basketball. I go to watch a Mountain West game, and I'm watching high school, maybe basketball once again. It is tough to watch it at times. I'm afraid football is going that same direction. It's not going to be a conference anymore that's going, if it ever did, scare people that are in the bigger conferences. I love the small schools coming up, coming up and doing something big. I just don't see it happening anytime soon. And here, all the best teams in the West have split off into two different conferences, the Mountain West and Pac-12. Doesn't do anybody any good. I wish the best teams of those 12 would get together either in the Pac-12 or the Mountain West, call it whatever you want, and make a much better West Coast conference than dividing all the assets, and that's what they're doing now. That serves no purpose.
Yeah, well, they are paying a $5 million exit or entry fee.
Oh, okay,
so hey,
get money. Well, money matters.
Right. Let's get to high school hoops because the NAIA state playoffs continue. Round 2 of Division 4A is tonight. Big Dogs tip off tomorrow night. We got special guests here to talk about that. We also know flag football championships are tomorrow for girls over at Allegiant Stadium. We're going to have much more on that tomorrow. But let's talk some high school hoops when we come back here on Sports Rap Daily. Welcome back to Sports Rap Daily. I am Darrell Harris. It is a Wednesday. We are talking high school hoops now. I'm here with Ron Futrell. And let's go ahead and introduce our guest today. Ron, we know we've been talking about it on Sports Rap on here, and they all know that I like the game of basketball a fair bit. But this high school season, I wanted to get involved in the Valley. I wanted to get out there and see what these teams were talking about, see what it felt and look the sights and sounds and feel it. And one of the people most heavily rooted in doing that already and over the past couple of years from what I've seen is Mr. Anthony Fortuna. Anthony, welcome. One of the main contributors over at Prep Hoops, and I'll let you introduce yourself any more beyond that.
Yeah, thank you for having me. My name's Anthony Fortuna. I'm originally from Chicago. However, I moved here 5 or 6 years ago, and I've been covering basketball here in the Valley the last 2 years for Prep Hoops. It's been awesome. I've been able to go to a ton of games. Like I was at the Border League earlier this year. I was at the Tarkanian Classic back in December. And now it's time for the playoffs.
Yeah, it is. And I saw you at Las Vegas High School on Monday night, and we connected. And Prep Hoops, for the record, too, not just Nevada. This is a national.
Right. We've got a writer or a scout in every state. Some states like Arizona have a couple. We try and cover as much ground as possible throughout the high school landscape here in America.
Way to go. And we know that that's needed. We know that that's needed because there's not a bevy of colleges everywhere. So if there's not somebody documenting sort of what's happening, there's no way to sort of get that word out about those athletes. But let's go ahead and take a look at some of the round 1 scores from the 4A division. Ron, we had, it's on the next one. But I previewed some of these with Chris on Monday. I was like, thanks, Carlos, for moving that one. But yes, we see Las Vegas and Faith Lutheran. That was a very decent game. Las Vegas ran away sort of towards the end. Durango, I said they're going to take care of Matter. Green Valley, that score's not correct because it wasn't a tie. Pardon me on that one. I'll get that fixed. But Sky Point got past Green Valley. I got to see them play earlier in the year. And Legacy is playing Durango tonight. We can go even back to the first one. But what were some of your big takeaways, Anthony, this year? And Ron, I'll let you pepper in any questions you might have too.
This year has been really interesting, especially 5A. There's been a lot of parity. We did see some kids transfer out of state right before the season started, but then there was also a good amount of kids that transferred into state. So it's been really cool to see a lot of these teams go head to head, and all of these games have been, 2, 4, 5-point games. So that's where, the playoffs is going to make things interesting. These teams have now seen each other, and now it's time for round 2.
Ron, what playoff tips would you have for these players?
Try to avoid Gorman. But they're not the powerhouse that they've been in the past. Certainly, they have. But I like Grant Rice, their coach over there. And high school hoops. Here's my problem with high school hoops too: is I've lost track. I got here. There were 10 high schools when I moved to Vegas here in '84. Before either one of you were born, and so it was easy. You could focus on those 10 schools. Now, how many high schools are there in Southern Nevada?
Much more. Yeah, there's over 100. Over 100 on some rankings.
At least 40 just in 4A alone.
Okay, yeah.
So that's not Las Vegas. I was thinking of the entire state. But yes, there are a ton here, and to where it's broken down. And one factor in playoff basketball is your success over like the course of 2 years will determine what division you're in. So say the folks at Clark.
Right.
Or say, for example, Valley. I was talking to some Valley parents, and we're like, yeah, this year isn't our best group. We had some better guys the last couple of years, so that play will sort of put you in that division. And then when those guys are gone, you're like, oh, we haven't been that great. And then it takes a year or two maybe to fall back to where you are. And so there's some of that back and forth of divisions that impact teams and matchups. But it's been interesting to see because, I had to say, I don't know where's that school? Where's this school? Is some of that a challenge for you getting around town, or you got the hang of it sort of now?
I say the biggest challenge this past year is, I kind of mentioned before, so many kids have been transferring. And so, there must have been at least 40 or 50 transfers from kids from different schools. So I had to kind of keep track of that and then update that and the rankings and all of that. So just, keeping track of these kids hasn't been the easiest, but it's great to see them, pursuing basketball at a higher level.
Now, we're going to talk about 5A in just a second, but you guys keep a player tracking list for Nevada athletes on Prep Hoops. Are there any guys in particular, girls even, but any players specifically that just have just stood out to you?
There's been a handful of really strong players this year, definitely in 5A. We had one of the top ESPN recruits, Munir Gregg. He was one of the kids that transferred in. So he's over at Coronado, and he's the point guard there.
Yep.
He's put together a very strong season. Aaron McMorrin, or the second, I should say. He's at Desert Pines. He's only a sophomore, and he's been averaging 23 points a game. So it'll be exciting to see what he does in the playoffs. And then, as Ron mentioned, Gorman's, got talent. So they've had Tyler Johnson playing very well for them. And then also Tyler Bright, who's their center, who's about 6'9" or so.
I'm a fan of Tyler Bright. I think he plays a nice, sound game. What's the junior's name on that team as well? The wing.
Cameron Cooper?
Yep. Cam's got a nice, well-rounded game as well. And what's interesting is that on some of those teams, Coronado knocked off Gorman I take it back. Liberty beat Gorman and Coronado this year.
Yep.
And I feel like all three of those teams are really interchangeable. I think they also all were like decided by a point or two.
Yeah, it's been awesome to see those teams, as even as they are, because that's just going to make these playoffs even more competitive. I know Liberty's got a pretty senior-heavy team. Gorman's got a really strong 2028 class that has been contributing throughout the year. Coronado's got length and size just about everywhere. So they're a really talented team just across the board.
Nice. And then we saw some of the results from round 1 on Monday night. Round 2 tips off tonight in 4A. I can run through some of those briefly. We got Shadow Ridge and Clark, Durango and Legacy. I think it's going to be a really good game. I think I'm going to go up to Legacy tonight to see that. It's going to be close to the house for me. Las Vegas and Sky Point and Palo Verde and Foothill will narrow. It'll be down to 4 after tonight for Division 4A. So let's take a quick break. We'll look at the games that are happening tomorrow amongst the heavy hitters in the Valley and continue our conversation on high school basketball here in Southern Nevada. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Sports Wrap Daily. It's the fourth quarter here. We're talking high school hoops because basketball playoffs statewide are taking place this week for boys and girls. I'm here with Ron Futrell. We also have Anthony Fortuna here on behalf of Prep Hoops, and he's been breaking down sort of how he does it. And really quick, Anthony, you were just explaining how a lot of this you're doing single-handedly.
Correct. So I've been trying to cover just as much ground as I can cover. I've been trying to go to 3A games, 4A games, 5A games, and then there's also the teams up in Reno that I've been trying to watch online for the most part, but I did get a glimpse of them back in the preseason.
Yeah. And you know what? I made the connection with the folks up there at Damani Ranch, and I think they've got Bishop Minogue next. And Minogue's they've been talented, right? Yeah,
Bishop Minogue is tough. They have two kids on their roster that are 6'8 plus. Connor Sheridan, he's about 6'9", and then Cade Snyder's about 6'8". So you could call them the Twin Towers. And then
giving teams problems.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they're going to block shots, they're going to dunk the ball, and just trying to operate in the paint is not going to be easy against them.
I was surprised that they weren't in the 5A division. But is there any insight sort of as to, because they were like top 5 in Nevada all season long, so I imagine that they would have been competing against Gorman and Coronado and Liberty, but maybe now is it a size thing perhaps?
Well, like with just the location of where they're at, those upper schools up in Reno just don't have as big of populations, so it's kind of a population type of thing. And I know that they did face some other really good teams in tournaments. So that's where they've had some of their bigger battles, but they'll definitely be one of the top contenders in 4A with those Twin Towers like we talked about.
Anthony, I got a question for you about eligibility. Seems to be an issue again this year. Centennial boys this year, I think the girls last year had some issues there with eligibility right now. Take us through that a little bit on what happened there and how difficult it is to make sure your players are eligible and what that fine line is.
I mean, with all of these kids transferring from one school to another, and some of these kids have also reclassed, meaning maybe they entered high school a year late, so maybe they did 8th grade twice. So when some of these kids try and transfer again in high school, some of these high schools aren't exactly respecting that reclass year, let's say. And so some kids, I think maybe the Centennial kid, it was something to do with that. But the other thing is, just the matter of when someone transfers from out of state, what year are they actually supposed to be in?
Good question.
Okay. It's just, I look at it, it happens more often than it should.
Yeah.
And it seems like it's a technical issue that's got to take place in the front office of these schools. And the kids and the coaches bear the brunt.
Yeah, and that'll cost them a little bit. Here's some of the 5A matchups that take place tomorrow. If you're wondering who's playing who, there they are, Ron. Gorman's got Centennial tomorrow. Okay. And Liberty at Sierra Vista. Sierra Vista's tough. I saw them earlier on in the season. Democracy Prep, they are tough. They've got some guards over there at DPAC, but I have not seen Desert Pines. Have you seen Desert Pines?
Yeah, I've seen them a handful of times.
How they looking?
They've got a really good transfer. His name is Chase Robertson. He's about 6'6". He's had some poster dunks this year.
Okay.
They also have Tyler Murto, who's a class of 2027, also about 6'5", 6'6", really good athlete. And then, one of the players I mentioned earlier, Aaron McMorrin, he's over there, I think, averaging about 23 points a game. So that's kind of their trio. And other than that, they have some really good role players.
Do you see anybody outside of the top 3 possibly making it out of there and taking this whole thing?
You mean outside of Liberty, Gorman, and Coronado?
Yeah. Or who would you give the best shot at that? Would it be Desert Pines?
I mean, to me, Desert Pines has that roster and the shooting that you worry about. If they can get 2 or 3 of their shooters going at the same time, they could definitely be dangerous.
Now, Ron, Anthony also helps put together a combine for the players here in Southern Nevada. I'll just let you explain some of that. Was this the first one that happened last year, or how long has this been going, and what are some positives that have come out of hosting this combine?
Yeah, so I've hosted my first combine back in the fall. I actually had a guy that I ran some football combines with a couple of years ago. So I reached out to him. He was interested in helping out. And then from there, we really just got the ball rolling. I wanted to make it as similar to the NBA combine as possible. So we had a lot of the top seniors come and participate, juniors and sophomores, along with a couple of freshmen. And yeah, we tested everything from their vertical, their lane agility and all that. And it was interesting to see some of those kids because I didn't know how athletic some of them were before that.
What I've noticed, Ron, is that we don't have a lot of trees here. Not right now. They're up at Minogue.
Yeah, they grow them big up there on the farm in northern Nevada. But no, a lot of skill players. Certainly down here, I think is a good way to describe it. And that's been the case for years, is that it's been a lot of good, skilled players down here in southern Nevada. I was sort of thinking, I was trying to, asking myself, the best high school player that I've seen here in the Valley.
Do we have an answer? Right.
I put Greg Anthony up there. He played at Rancho High School here, was also a quarterback, wore number 7 at quarterback, left-handed. So you put him in that green Rancho jersey wearing a number 7 left-handed, little like Michael Vick. Okay, I would go there. But a basketball player, he won the state championship in both football and basketball when he was here. Brian Williams played at Gorman with Matt Othick. That was a great duo there. This is in the 90s, so I'm going way back before you guys were born.
Yeah.
And it was fun to watch. Then Brian Williams later became Bison Dele, went to the NBA and met his tragic demise in Tahiti on a boat with his brother.
Yeah.
A horrific story, but played his high school ball here for a couple of years in Las Vegas at Gorman, the old Gorman gym, by the way. I love that old tight little friendly confines where teams did not get out alive. But
yeah. Well, we got to sort of wrap it up. Anthony, let us know where we can find you, where folks can find your content, and anything that you want to let the folks know before we get out of here today.
Yeah, thank you again for having me. And yeah, if you'd like to follow my content, my Instagram is Fortuna downspace Prep Hoops on Instagram. And then if you'd like to, subscribe to Prep Hoops, definitely go for it. I try and, keep up with all the rankings. So we've got a new rankings list coming out in about a month. So stay tuned for that. And yeah, it'll be, interesting to see how these playoffs go.
Sports Wrap Daily. That'll do it for us today, Ron. We did it.
Darrell, glad to be here.
Thank you both for being here today. Thank you all for watching. We'll see you tomorrow.